Hey guys, all right, before you jump into this episode, I did want to give you a little heads up. We recorded this episode yesterday morning before a lot more had come out about the Heche situation. So when you're listening to it, just keep that in mind. But I do want to give you some updates. They did find cocaine in her blood. When we were talking about it, we weren't really sure if she had anything in her system at the time. They did find cocaine and fentanyl, but fentanyl could be in her system at the time of the crash because hospitals use it as pain medication, but the more dire situation is this coma that she is in. She is in critical condition, and she is not expected to survive, according to her rep. So I just wanted to get you guys up to date on that before you listen to the episode. Enjoy. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast. Time for your Raw Rundown. It is that day. Adam is out, but I gotta fill in. Sam Bush from Hot Off the Mess podcast, a huge podcast. If you love anything Bravo, Housewives, any Bravo show, this will be the podcast you want to check out. So Sam, aka Bravo historian on social media, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I put some Bravo stuff on here.
You did.
On the rundown because I wanted to make sure, we really got into your niche market here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you sent me, and I have thoughts on a lot of it. So perfect.
Now, what is your favorite Bravo show to cover?
To cover, it used to be Vanderpump Rules and Real Housewives of New York, and then they took a sharp left into Hell. And now I like covering Married to Medicine a lot. I think that's a really underrated show.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of it.
It's truly the best show on television.
All right, I will believe you, and I will check it out.
Funniest group of women you'll ever see.
All right, let's jump into it. I'm going to rate a couple reviews just because someone took the time out of their day to head on over to our iTunes page, go down to the bottom, and leave a review. So let me read a couple as a thank you. Got this one from Queen Lucy. It says, one of the best podcasts. Listen to you guys on the Dumois and Juicy Scoop. Love the perspective they're bringing to the industry. And of course, love the stories and interviews. Well, thank you, Queen
Oh my God, that's
Lucy.
so nice.
I appreciate it, right? I love when people take the time. It's very kind. All right, we got another one here. This one says, amazing from reality fan 1621. You guys always hit it out of the park by pulling back the curtain of Hollywood. Your magic starts by creating a genuine connection with folks you interview, and it is taken to the next level by asking the right questions. From MN Christine. Well, thank you. Look at that.
Wow, you got such lovely listeners.
Dude,
so kind.
we got so many. And there was a bunch I saw pop up this week. I'm excited to read them. But let's jump into this podcast so we can get you guys out of here in the next, 20 or so minutes. All right. Number 10. All right, Sam, we're going to do 10 to 1. All right. Just to make sure. All right. So number 10, Steve Martin is retiring. I mean, this is a big deal. He is saying that once his show is done on Hulu, that he's going to be done. So Only the Murders in the Building is the show that he is doing right now with Selena Gomez and Martin Short. Once that wraps up, he is going to get out of the business. What are your thoughts on that one?
It's not something that I can't say I didn't see coming, but it's strange that he announced it. I'm just kind of surprised by that he would be like, yeah, I'm done after this. But he's done a lot in his career.
100%. The surprising thing, I could see him retiring from a show like this, of course, or even doing movies. But he's saying he doesn't even want to do appearances. And he has been on Saturday Night Live 19 times or something. So he's never going to do that again. That is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah. It makes me think what else is going on?
You think he's sick or something? Are you concerned?
I don't know. I don't want to put that out there, but I'm a little concerned.
Okay. I mean, the thing is,
or we don't know. Tired.
I know, but we don't know when the show's going to end, right?
That's true.
It's season 3, so they could be signed up for another 8 seasons. We don't know, and he's saying it just get people to watch the show.
Yeah. And he's got 10 more seasons. He works for 10 more years.
He literally is just trying to negotiate to get another season. So he's I'm going to put this out there, and everyone's going to keep watching the show because no one wants to see him retire. This could be a smart publicity move on his part.
Honestly, it sounds smart to me. It's kind of genius.
Absolutely. All right, number 9. Oh, this is looking good. There is a new Armie Hammer documentary on what was it? It was not Disney Plus,
Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus, the other plus one,
Mhm.
and it's called House of Hammer, and this dives all into obviously Army Hammer's life, but not just his life, his family's life, and
Mhm.
the oil tycoon and all the crap, 5 generations of alleged abuse and power by the army or the Hammermen. I watched the trailer for this. It looks unbelievable. They've got, I think it's Army's aunt who's
Can't.
talking on it and
Mhm.
basically divulging all the information. It looks juicy as hell, though.
It looks so good, and when I was watching the trailer, obviously, I knew they were gonna talk about the Army Hammer, like, cannibalism
Mhm.
stuff, ropes and things, and then when they started talking about the family, I was like, "Oh, here we go." I was I'm so excited. And now
So
he's selling timeshares.
yeah, Cayman Island timeshares,
Yeah,
go
as
from
one
making
does.
movies to just timeshares and stuff.
Yeah.
But the other part, so if you haven't watched this trailer, it's two women that apparently were in some sort of relationship with Army talking about showing off their text messages and
Mhm.
uh, phone calls and voice memos and all kinds of stuff, just airing out all of his dirty laundry on this documentary. It's People are going to watch the shit out of this thing.
The fact that they're launching it on Discovery Plus, I'm like, "God damn it." I was like, "They got me good because now I'm
Right?
gonna sign up for Discovery Plus."
I've got every subscription under the planet. I don't
I
want to get more. And I'm like, thanks, Discovery. I will have to go
Yep,
use you now.
I
S-
know.
Smart move on their part. All right, number 8. Tommy Lee showing off his junk this morning. Well, actually, yesterday morning on IG. Sam, did you see this photo?
Yes, I did. My friend sent it to me bright and early. It was one of the first things I saw when I woke up. It
Is
was
that a good thing or a
disturbing.
bad thing?
I was, like, disgusted, and also, like, how he obviously didn't do this on accident. There's just no way. It's not like a mirror pick where, like, it was so intentional, and the angle was aggressive.
Well, it definitely wasn't an accident when you write "oops" as your caption and then
Yeah.
post it. I don't know if he was just like thirsty Thursday for him. He needed some attention. I mean, the
Yeah.
world has been talking about this dude's wang for the last 20 years since the sex tape
Mhm.
with Pam Anderson came out. But the other part that it wasn't fake or not on accident was that his wife was the first comment on there that said, "Oh
Mm.
my God."
Yeah, I would be horrified.
Yeah, because she
Horrified.
could easily just go, "Hey, babe, do you mind taking that down?" But she took the moment to
Mhm.
actually write a comment on there. So
Yeah.
clearly, this was a planned out thing. Um, but I don't. Is he coming out with music? Is he promoting something? Why would he just
Why now?
put the meat out for today? I don't get it.
Ugh, not the meat. Oh god. So aggressive that oh,
I think there could have been a more aggressive angle, probably from down low,
it I don't
looking up.
I don't I don't wanna see it any angle because I obviously watched the Pam and Tommy, like, show where they had,
Yeah.
like, the talking penis, and that was
That was
bananas.
weird. That was
Yeah,
the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen on television.
yeah,
That was disturbing to all points. And clearly he doesn't have a talking penis, but the fact that they
clearly.
gave him one in there was bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, I can't keep talking about that. So we're going to move on to number 7. Denise Richards, who is 51 now, says she does not identify as a sex symbol and never really realized the magnitude of what that was when she was younger. She did this whole series for Yahoo Life called Unapologetically and talked about this and just saying, I've always looked at health and fitness as it's just me being healthy, not like too skinny, not too this. She did talk a
Mhm.
little bit about her surgeries, that she probably wouldn't have got her breasts enhanced back in the day if she could do it all over again. She maybe not have done the fillers and Botox because her
Yeah.
face has moved a lot. Your thoughts on this? Because she is in your wheelhouse of the housewives.
She is, and I think Denise Richards is one of the most beautiful women, and I find it really interesting that she didn't ever look at herself in that way, where she didn't think she was a sex symbol, especially because she was in, like, Wild Things, like, she was kind of like I don't know, like and now she has an OnlyFans, so, like, you
Mhm.
clearly know that you're hot. So, I don't know, I find it odd, an
Do you
odd
think it's just
stance.
something she said to get a reaction?
Yeah, because it's but also, like, no one's really reacting. I mean, I guess
Because
we are,
but
like, I don't see people
she
talking about
is a
it.
sex symbol, and
She
there's no
is,
way
it's,
she
like,
didn't know when
silly,
she's done covers of magazines, and I'm sorry,
literally.
Wild Things alone, everyone referred to her as a sex symbol
Ev
after
every
Wild Things.
teenage boy and girls were like, "That is a hottie." So,
Mhm.
I don't know what she's talking about.
And I
I
do
think she's
agree.
just saying things.
If you have an OnlyFans, you're kind of a sex symbol, right?
Yeah. Well, her daughter got
That's
an OnlyFans, and then she got an OnlyFans. It's a family affair over
it's
there.
a family affair is right.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's get into something that I feel like you are going to have a lot to talk about.
oh boy.
Melissa and Joe Gorga breaking their silence about skipping Teresa's wedding. This has been
Mhm.
all over. Everyone's been talking about it because them not showing up to the wedding was a huge, as everyone called it, elephant in the room, pink elephant in the room. Um, what are your thoughts on their reasoning? They basically said that they were in a fight with them towards the end of the season, and so going to that wedding would have been very awkward for them. What
Yeah.
more can you tell me about that? Because coming from you, I think it's going to sound better.
So so there was allegedly, this is all alleged, a fight at the finale party, which was I think either the day before the wedding or 2 days before the wedding, where a rumor was brought about how Melissa's cheating on Joe, and the rumor was basically started by Teresa Giudice, and she's the one that brought it to the cameras. Um, and Joe and Melissa have just kind of had it, and I feel like this was, like, the only way they could really show Teresa, like, "We're done, this is a boundary that we're setting. You're toxic," and I'm proud of them. I'm really
Interesting.
proud of
And
them.
now, do you think Teresa does this because she just likes the camera time? She likes the drama that it causes. She just fuels off of it, or why would you start a rumor about your boyfriend or your brother, and that would clearly
Teresa
bury him?
Teresa, in my mind, she's been on the show for so long that I don't think she knows what's reality, like what's real and
Mhm.
what's for TV. I think it all kind of blends together, and I don't think she puts that much thought. I think she thinks this will make good TV. There will be drama for the show. I don't think she's fully really realizing like how hurtful this is to Joe and Melissa and their kids. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
she
like,
just thinks this stays on the show and that's that, but it really hurts them.
yeah, they're like, no, we have a relationship outside
Yeah.
this fake world of television here, and
Mhm.
I'm still your brother at the end of the day. And that's what he
Mhm.
said. He goes, like we show up to these family events and everyone else treats me great, and then why am I getting treated so different by her?
Mhm.
That's got to be tough, man. We've had him on the podcast. He was awesome, really
He's an
fun guy.
angel, and Melissa's so stunning.
Yeah, never
She
had
was
her
on my
on.
podcast, and she was in no makeup, and I wanted to never show my face again. I'm like, I'm in full beat, and I can't hold a candle. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, she's
All
lovely.
right. Number five. This one. So Rita Ora got married. So she got married to Taika Waititi. I believe I'm saying his name properly. But you know him. He's a filmmaker. He's done a lot of the big Marvel movies, like the Thor movies. He's got an Academy Award. He's got, I think, Emmys. He literally has everything. Super, super successful guy. They started dating years ago. They've been kind of sly over the years, but they did get married, walk down the aisle. That's kind of all I have about this story. Rita Ora is married.
Rita Ora is married. I'm not a Rita Ora girly, but happy for her.
Why are
And
you
I'm
not a Rita Ora? You just
I
don't like
don't
her
know, I
music,
feel
or
like
just don't care?
she is just one of those celebrities that has tried to do so many things and
Hmm.
nothing is like ever sticks. Does that make
Got
sense?
it.
Like
Yeah, yeah, no,
she tries to be
100%.
in music, but like her songs flop. Like she tries to be host, like no one watches. It's like so I'm like good for her. Hitching her wagon to a Marvel tycoon is like not the worst things that she could do.
Hmm.
So and like he's not putting her in his movies.
Yeah,
So what does that
she's
say?
and the thing is, she's beautiful. She does
Stunning.
really well. You know what? She's a perfect, like, social media star
Exactly. Get her on
because she's
Instagram.
amazing on Instagram. She's fun to
Mhm.
follow. But you're right. Just
Nothing else.
nothing else. All right. Let's get going. Number four, the judge in this Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis custody case has sided with her, saying that the custody case will stay in California and not move to New York. Jason had basically said that he wanted the court case to be out there because at one point they had all lived out there. And Olivia said, no, no, no. The kids reside in California. We cannot move it. And the judge said he agrees. That being said, I don't know. Have you followed this case? Did you watch when she was served papers on
Yes.
stage at Comic-Con and how horrible it must have been when she looked at it? And I gotta I give her major props for keeping it together and
I
not
know.
flinching at all. I don't know how
No,
my brain would have continued to go.
people thought it was like a script she was handed, like, no one really knew. That's how well she handled it, and I was so impressed with her.
It was amazing. Well, she now, in her court case, basically said that she accused Sudeikis of trying to embarrass her professionally when she was served those papers, and that his actions were clearly intended to threaten
Mhm,
me and catch me off guard, which they did.
mhm.
He could have served her discreetly, but instead choose to serve her in the most aggressive manner possible, is what she said. And I don't disagree at all. I mean, originally he said, "Oh, I wasn't a part. I didn't know." Bullshit. You
Yeah,
knew he knew.
like, I'm sure he was aware. I don't think Jason is a bad guy per se. I just think, like, he did wanna get back at her. I mean, to be
Mhm.
left for Harry Styles, that's tough, and, so I'm sure on some level in his mind, he was like, "I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her back," but I don't get why he would want them to reside, their home, quote, unquote, "to reside"
Mhm.
in New York when it's like they clearly all live in LA.
You know
It
why? I
it's
think it
just
comes
silly.
down to the laws, and in California, they most of the time will side with the mother in a court case, and a lot more
Oh.
time in this, and so California is very, I don't wanna say notorious because it is what it is, but a lot of times they will side with the mother, give her more time, blah, blah, blah. And I think maybe New York might be a little more lenient. So he was
Different.
trying to get them to New York.
I just hope it doesn't get ugly because I love them both, and I
Mhm.
I would love them to be, like, a very healthy co-parenting, duo, but
I think
I
we're
don't know if we're gonna
past
get
that,
that. Yeah, I
though.
don't think we're getting that. I don't think
I
that's
think that ship
happening.
has sailed.
Yeah. It's a
All
bummer.
right. Number three, Anne Heche. She is
Ooh.
still in a coma after that fiery car crash, but she could be in a lot of trouble for this. So, if you haven't followed the news, last Friday, she was in a gnarly car crash where her car went through a home, caught on fire. She was sent to the hospital, obviously, but she has been in a coma ever since. But I guess People magazine talked to a couple legal experts and they said, look, if she was having some kind of medical emergency, that's one
Mhm.
thing. If there is going to be alcohol or drugs or anything else involved, she could be on the line for being a lot of trouble. A lot of
Yes.
trouble.
And I mean, the home burned down, I believe.
Yeah, the
The
house caught on
house
fire. I don't know if it was a total loss or not, but there's a lot of destruction with the home.
and it's obviously really devastating. I know she's in a coma. It's horrible. I just find it odd that, like, so many celebrities has spoken out in support of her when I'm like, she was drunk driving. She
Is
was
that what
under
you think it
some
is?
influence. Like, it seems strange. Um, I don't know. It's just one of those weird
Did they
things.
say did anyone say that she come from a party or something? Like, why
I
do we
think
think she was drinking?
I think that there is, suspicion that she has a alcohol problem.
Ah,
So I
gotcha.
think that people are, like, speaking out in support of her,
Mhm,
to get her help, and it's a tough thing to talk about because she is in a coma.
mhm.
So, it's bad. It's a really sad situation.
It's crazy. Crazy situation.
Well, last week
No
was a
wit
big week for car accidents. Did you see that one woman driving 90 miles per hour?
no, what was this?
What?
Did I miss it? What are you talking about?
Yes. Oh my god, there was, like, this viral video. It's really unfortunate that it's viral, but this woman in Texas drove 90 miles per hour through an intersection, and
Okay.
it's all caught on camera, and it all like, her car, like, lit on fire. She killed multiple people, but she walked away from it. It's crazy. So last week was a big week for
Well, I
accidents.
remember seeing a video that was going around where it was like a car on the side of the freeway, and there were like
No.
three guys trying to bash through the glass window. And they were saying how these guys were heroes because, and I don't know if it was a
Mhm.
man, woman who was inside the car, but it was three guys bashing the window as the other side of the car was catching on fire. And they got the person out at like the last second. It
Oh
was a
my god.
crazy video.
Wow.
Okay, let's move on. Got to
This is a car crash podcast.
I know, right? Let's get into the car
Yeah.
crash podcast. Speaking of train wrecks here, let's talk a little Britney Spears right now,
Mm.
because this story just keeps getting wilder and wilder.
Mhm.
Right when we think Britney Spears is kind of on the other end of, the conservatorship and things are going well for her and she's getting married, and her sons didn't show up to her wedding, which got a lot of
Mhm.
people talking. Well, now Kevin Federline posts a couple videos on social media showing Britney kind of yelling at the boys and saying that they decided to put out these videos to show what the boys have been through over the last few years,
Mhm.
and that that they've been through a lot, and there's a reason that they're not talking to her for the last 5 months. What are your thoughts on him posting a video that he knows is going to basically stab her in the back so hard?
Mhm. I think it's horrible that he did this. I wish that her family and people surrounding her would stop doing things so publicly. But with that said, I do think people have to give some grace to these boys because they are I mean, it's hard to believe now that they're like 14, 15 years
Hmm.
old.
I
They've
think
had
they're
to
even
go
like
through.
15 and 16
Right,
now.
like, they're, like, very aware of what's going on, and it just makes me so sad, and I think that they deserve some grace as well, because they did have to watch their mom go through this conservatorship. They had to deal with, I mean, she was, prescribed an insane amount of lithium, this woman has been through so much, and so have they. I just don't
Mhm.
like that Kevin is, or K-Fed or whatever he wants to be called, um is posting this stuff and doing interviews and making it so public, and maybe he's trying to be like, "Listen, I'm speaking out for my kids," but it's like, I just wish he wouldn't. Just leave
Yeah.
them alone. Just leave everybody offline.
Well, I do wonder if there is a violation of the law here because she didn't know she was being videotaped. One of the
Right.
sons videotaped her and he posted it. And so I don't know if he could face some kind of legal ramifications for posting
Mhm.
this. I can tell you that Britney's lawyer is furious, who is basically going after K-Fed. I think K-Fed is the one person that is, I don't want to say untouchable, but I want to say there's a lot more hoops to jump through if she wants to go after him because he has full legal custody of the kids.
Right.
So, and they're clearly on his side at this moment. So she's probably like, what do I do? How do I not completely sever the relationship with my kids, but
Right.
tell Kevin to go F himself and he needs to be held responsible for this?
Yeah, and I also kind of want Sam to stay out of it because
Hmm.
he keeps posting things on Instagram in support of Britney, obviously, which is like we all think he should support her, but at the same time, I just wish that they would all kind of just stop. Like,
Yeah.
stop talking about it online, just leave Britney alone. Just leave her
Leave
alone.
Britney alone. I would say
Yeah.
in the one video, there was one where she's talking about how like she doesn't know how to act and the kids are putting her through all this stress.
Mhm.
And she's like, you're just being weird because you're going through puberty. I can kind of relate. Like sometimes my kids are little weirdos. And I think it's just kids being kids. And a parent sounding desperate at the fact that like you can't understand the children and you're
Mhm.
trying but they're acting so bizarre. So at that moment I kind of felt for Brittany, and then I thought the worst moment that I've like screamed at my kids, like I would not want the world to see that.
No parent would. Like,
Yeah.
I screamed at my dog in the street, and I was horrified. So, I just I'm not comparing dogs and children, but you know what I'm saying. It's just one of those things where it's really sad, and I feel like she didn't get to spend a lot of time with them due to the
Mhm,
conservatorship, so she probably doesn't know them that well, and she's
mhm.
trying, and that just was really heartbreaking to watch because she
Yeah.
also just, like, doesn't understand.
So there was one time where I was literally screaming at my children at the top of my lungs because they were being very bad.
Mhm.
And I walked outside and my neighbor was right there and she could hear the whole thing go down and it was horrifying.
Oh my god. No, like, imagine, like, they put that on Instagram. Oh,
Right? I was like, you
yeah.
caught me at my
Your
moment of
worst moment.
my weakest moment where I'm losing my mind
Mhm.
and then I turn around and my neighbor's right there and heard the whole
That's
damn thing.
horrible.
So,
That's
all
horrible.
right, let's get on to number one, which is a very sad number one. But Olivia Newton-John passed away this
Mhm.
week at the age of 73. Everyone obviously knew her as Sandy from Grease, and she's been tied to John Travolta ever since because that was
Mhm.
such an iconic role. But her husband did put up a really nice post about how their love for each other transcends any understanding and how much he loved her and they had so much gratitude and all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to read it because it's a very long post, but oh, broke my heart.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, they were together a long time and she battled cancer for so long, and it's that, takes a toll on a relationship so to see that they still like were so in love, and it's really devastating. It's a really sad loss.
And her
One I
children.
wasn't ex not that I'm ever like expecting a celebrity to die, but like it felt so random. It was like a
Mhm.
jolt. It was kind of like
Yeah.
Bob Saget. I was like, "Holy shit." Like
Or
that's
Gilbert Godfrey.
crazy.
Where the fuck did that come
I
from?
yeah, it's like
It's been a rough year.
super sad. A lot of
Yeah.
loss.
A lot to lost this year. So that is our raw rundown for this week. We got you caught up on all the top stories in entertainment news. So you can go on the weekend feeling informed, feeling knowledgeable, and make sure you guys check out Sam's podcast, Hot Off the Mess, and you can also follow her on social media at the Bravo Historian. Your podcast is just crushing it.
Thank
What
you.
if someone's never checked out your podcast, what would you like, what's your pitch line for them to come check it out?
Okay. If you love to hear like the ramblings of a really unhinged woman in her apartment talking about Bravo and pop culture, like then this is the podcast for you. Sometimes I have guests, sometimes it's just me. Um Thoughts and prayers for my producer Pat, like who has to edit and listen to it. So it's a good time. It's a good time. It
Good.
comes out
Well,
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays, make sure you check it out. Head on over there, and if you like it, make sure you leave her a review because that
Yeah,
means the
please.
world to us podcasters. That 5 seconds out of your life going down to the bottom of iTunes on our page and leaving that review, 5 stars only. We appreciate it. So
Yeah.
leave one for the Hollywood Raw podcast. Leave one for Hot Off the Mess. Thank you, Sam, for joining me this week. I
Thank you for
really, really
having
do
me.
appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Later.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.